Welcome to The Frozen Edge. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 most underrated players in NHL history. These legends may not always get the recognition they deserve, but their contributions to the game have been monumental. Let's dive in. Claude Lemieux is one of the most polarizing figures in NHL history. Known for his aggressive style of play and clutch performances, Lemieux won 4 Stanley Cups with 3 different teams, one of the rarest accomplishments in hockey. Despite his success, Lemieux is often overlooked in conversations about great players due to his reputation as an agitator. However, his 80 playoff goals, which rank 9th all-time, demonstrate his incredible ability to perform when it mattered most. Lemieux was a unique mix of skill and grit, capable of delivering game-winning performances while getting under the skin of his opponents. His contributions in the postseason, particularly his Conn Smythe-winning playoff run with the New Jersey Devils in 1995, cement his legacy as one of the most underrated clutch players in NHL history. Dale Hawerchuk was one of the most prolific centers of the 1980s and 1990s, yet his contributions are often forgotten due to playing in an era dominated by stars like Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. A first overall pick in 1981, Hawerchuk racked up 1,409 points over his career, putting him among the NHL's all-time leaders. His playmaking ability and consistency were hallmarks of his game, but he rarely received the same level of fanfare as his peers. Hawerchuk was the heart and soul of the Winnipeg Jets during his prime, and later had significant impacts with the Buffalo Sabres and Philadelphia Flyers. Despite never winning a Stanley Cup, his individual accolades, including 5 100-point seasons and an induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame, solidify his status as an underrated great. Before we continue with our countdown, make sure to like this video and subscribe to The Frozen Edge for more in-depth hockey content. Let us know in the comments who you think is the most underrated player in NHL history. Stefan Persson might not be a household name, but his role in the New York Islanders dynasty of the early 1980s was critical. A steady and reliable defenseman, Persson was instrumental in helping the Islanders capture 4 consecutive Stanley Cups from 1980 to 1983. He wasn't flashy, but his ability to control the pace of the game and contribute offensively from the blue line made him a key component of their success. What made Persson unique was his consistency and ability to elevate his game in the playoffs. He provided both defensive stability and offensive support, making him one of the most valuable yet underappreciated players on those legendary Islanders teams. Persson's influence on the game, particularly in an era dominated by offensive stars, often goes overlooked. Dino Ciccarelli's NHL career was nothing short of remarkable, yet his name is rarely mentioned among the league's greats. With 608 career goals, Ciccarelli ranks among the top 20 goal scorers in NHL history. Despite his offensive prowess, Ciccarelli had to wait over a decade after retiring to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, highlighting how underappreciated he was during and after his career. Ciccarelli played with a chip on his shoulder, often excelling in front of the net despite his smaller stature. He thrived in high-pressure situations, particularly in the playoffs, where he posted 73 goals in 141 games. Ciccarelli's ability to score in any situation and his tenacity make him one of the NHL's most underrated goal scorers. Adam Oates was one of the most skilled playmakers in NHL history, but his lack of a Stanley Cup ring often keeps him from being mentioned among the game's elite. Oates tallied over 1,400 points in his career, primarily as an assist machine for legendary goal scorers like Brett Hull and Cam Neely. His hockey IQ and vision allowed him to create scoring chances seemingly out of nowhere. Despite his impressive numbers, Oates never received the same level of attention as other players of his era. His role as a setup man often overshadowed his brilliance as a playmaker, but his impact on the ice was undeniable. Oates' consistency and hockey intelligence make him players to ever lace up skates. Pekka Rinne was one of the most dominant goaltenders of his generation, particularly during his time with the Nashville Predators. A 4-time All-Star and Vezina Trophy winner in 2018, Rinne's size and athleticism made him a nightmare for opposing shooters. His ability to make game-changing saves was critical in leading the Predators to their first Stanley Cup final appearance in 2017. Despite his individual accolades, Rinne often flies under the radar when discussing the best goaltenders of his era. era, possibly due to playing in a smaller market like Nashville. His loyalty to the Predators and his numerous franchise records solidify his legacy, but his contributions are still often underappreciated on a league-wide scale. With 708 career goals, Mike Gartner ranks 7th all-time in NHL history, yet his name is often absent from discussions about the league's best goal scorers. Gartner's career was defined by his incredible speed and consistency, as he recorded 15 seasons with 30 or more goals. Despite this, Gartner never won a Stanley Cup, which may explain why his legacy isn't as prominent as some of his peers. Gartner's ability to maintain his level of play across 2 decades is what sets him apart. He was a reliable offensive threat throughout his career, yet his lack of postseason success often overshadows his impressive regular season achievements. Regardless, his goal-scoring ability places him among the most underrated offensive talents in NHL history. Brian Propp was one of the most consistent and versatile wingers during his 15-year NHL career. He scored over 1,000 points, including 425 goals, but is often overlooked because he spent most of his career with the Philadelphia Flyers, a team that fell short in several Stanley Cup finals during his time there. Propp was a crucial piece of those Flyers teams, known for his two-way play and leadership. Despite reaching the Stanley Cup final 5 times, Propp was never able to capture a championship, which may be why his name doesn't carry the same weight as other wingers of his era. His versatility, hockey intelligence, and scoring touch make him one of the NHL's most underrated players. Alexander Mogilny was one of the most skilled and electrifying players to ever play in the NHL. His 76-goal season in 1992-93 remains one of the highest scoring campaigns in league history. Mogilny's combination of speed, hands, and hockey sense made him a constant threat on the ice, but his quiet demeanor and injuries throughout his career may have contributed to him being underappreciated. Mogilny was also a pioneer, becoming the first Soviet player to defect to North America and paving the way for other Russian stars. Despite his individual brilliance and Stanley Cup win in 2000, Mogilny's name is often left out of conversations about the NHL's best. His contributions to both the game and its globalization are immense, making him one of the most underrated stars in hockey history. Ron Francis is perhaps the most underrated player in NHL history, despite being 5th all-time in career points with 1,798. Known for his playmaking ability and leadership, Francis was a 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Pittsburgh Penguins and a 3-time Lady Byng Trophy winner. His defensive acumen and ability to elevate his teammates made him one of the best two-way centers in NHL history. Francis's quiet demeanor and consistency often meant he was overshadowed by flashier stars like Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. However, his ability to contribute offensively and defensively at an elite level for over 2 decades makes him the ultimate underrated player. Despite his incredible career, Francis never received the widespread recognition he deserved, solidifying his place at the top of this list.